This is a Shine 38 review show. The show literally finished about 5 minutes ago after the time I set up and uploaded the intro song, etc, etc. And I'm very interested to see if anyone actually watched this show. I watched the show on the FloSlam website. Now, this is a very, very funny story which I'm about to tell you. So, FloSlam, which I hope you all know by now, is a new pro wrestling... Well, it's not a pro wrestling company. It's a company that hosts and shows pro wrestling. It's the equivalent to what WWN Live used to be. However, there's archives, there's live stream. The live stream, by the way, worked 100% completely well. So if you are curious to see whether or not you should buy it, I watched it on my Google Chrome browser on my laptop here in the office. It was absolutely bloody breathtakingly brilliant. What a stream. Perfect. No more than I could ask for. So back to the funny story. So I went on there and I signed up this morning. And I went on there, and there's a way you can either subscribe yearly, which costs $150, which is about $129, £130, or you can subscribe monthly, which is $20, which is about £16. So there is a huge difference in the price there. So there's me going, I'm signing up this morning because I knew I wanted to watch Shine Live and the Evolve 73 and 74, I think it's 72, 73 anyway, digressing. And I click us all signed up, and then I get an email saying confirmation of your yearly membership, and I'm like, no. So I check my bank, and I have see the 129 deducted. So I'm like, fuck, get on the email service, hit them up. I hit them up, and then thankfully by an hour's time they said, don't worry, we're refunding the money altogether. But we're gonna take £15 of that, which $20 off that, which will now start your 1 month. So they refunded it all. If that was W Network, I wouldn't have got my money back. And you know that. What a great company. That's why I'm going to support them and support. And I just love independent wrestling. And this is the first time I've watched a Shine show since Shine 29, which is in the summer of last year. It has been a while since I watched a Shine show, but I'm back watching Shine. I'm looking forward to breaking this down. So, it took place on the 4th of November 2016. I don't know when you're listening to it. I always say the date in case you're listening to this in fucking January if you're scrolling down on the archive list. So the show starts off with Mercedes Martinez and ACR. They come out. Mercedes cuts a promo announcing that Shayna Baszler, oh dude, I'm slaughtering these names. Oh dude, I'm so bad. Is it her insurance policy and wants her no DQ match to start right now? Andrea with C4, which is a big group. They come out. Andrea's a baseball bat, and it doesn't look like a scary one. Mercedes then wants a one-on-one, and both crews get sent to the back. Excuse me, lots of factions in this company, lots of rivalries, but I think Shine 38 was a great introduction to people who, they realised that with the launch of FloSlam, they're going to get new customers and a different audience. It felt like to me anyway, that it feels like they were really hitting the refresh button, the reset button, it's very late, reset button, and really trying to show everyone what the story is. So we have a no DQ match of Mercedes Martinez versus Andrea. They brawl from the get-go, which I love. It just feels so personal. Mercedes hits a nice running cannonball off the apron. These ladies are hitting hard, very physical. Mercedes then hits a baseball bat, and as does Andrea. It's a street fight, so they're in the street clothes. I like that. I really do like that. It's not all the time that you get a street fight where they wear street clothes. Like an example was Extreme Rules 2012, Punk and Jericho, they both did. It was like that here, and it felt like a real fight. Andrea then spits beer in her face, and I hate spitting. I could go off on a 10-minute rant about why I hate spitting in anything. I don't care if it's football, where they spit when they are dehydrated and got loads of saliva in their throat. I don't care. It's disgusting. It has no place in a pro wrestling ring. That's just my opinion. And people who do that for heat, they can go fuck themselves. Andrea then stands on both legs and just pulls the hair, and Mercedes was just screaming. It was really, really nasty. Mercedes then hits a beautiful German, which I retweeted on my Twitter if you want to look at it. It was a GIF, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Mercedes then hits a Fisherman Buster to get the win. I enjoyed that. Normally you guys know I'm a massive, massive hater of deathmatch style, but as the feud felt personal, there wasn't anything too bad, minus the spitting, which I just touched on. It was okay. 2.5 stars, women were super physical. Great way to kick off the show, it really was. Then we have Priscilla Kelly versus Chelsea Diamond. This is Diamond's debut, and she's smoking hot, must say so myself. Who else have we got? So, this match starts off with a collar and elbow tie-up. When was the last time any match in WWE or TNA started with a collar and elbow tie-up? Beautiful. Beautiful. This match had some nice technical work. Kelly, she kind of reminds me of Paige, the look and style. They both complement. No, this isn't a compliment. It is actually a compliment. I'm comparing Kelly to Paige the wrestler, not Paige the whore from Total Divas. Kelly has some really nice strikes, some kicks, and Diamond gets the win. But Kelly gets a standing ovation after the match. It's like a 1.5 stars, 1.25 stars. Nothing too bad. Nothing offensive. This kind of was. Up next, we have Miss Rachel versus Tracy Taylor. Miss Rachel's a bit big, and Tracy is like a Caribbean, Hawaii type gimmick, like a Latino dancer kind of. Tracy was on the first ever Shine Show. Jeez, that's incredible. How's she still there? Tracy did this really cool thing where she did like a surfboard stretch, but she didn't use the hands. She put her leg in. It was like she was surfing, and then she's got like that Hawaiian type gimmick. I think that's great. I love it when characters do moves, but do them differently so it matches their character. I think that just shows effort being put in. Tracy rolls up the bigger Miss Rachel to get the win. It didn't do anything for me. Don't think I'm going to come out here just because it's women, like I'm going to sugarcoat it. No, I thought this match bored me. It was dull. I hated it. I didn't like it. I didn't care either character. I liked Miss Rachel shouting at the fans and getting heat and dissing the ref, but I just didn't give a fuck who won. Then we had the ACW, the Women's Championship was on the line as Brandy Lauren defending against Araya Blake, first time seeing both two, and ACW will be on FloSlam later this month, so expect an ACW. And by the way, in case you're wondering, I will be reviewing every single FloSlam event live after it happens, only on VIP, so you got that to look forward to. Brandy then blocks a kick, but pulls her hard onto the apron, really nice spot. And this is one thing I liked, okay, I'm just going to touch on this now, because I was going to save it for later on in the show, but I'm just feeling like in that mood. So there's lots of women and young girls. When I mean young, I mean like 10. And it's nice seeing them at a women's wrestling show. Because, like, for men, like, we all have our heroes, like Stone Cold Steve Austin. We would love to just go around, open a can of whoop ass, and just stunner the fuck out of our boss, out of anyone we don't like. You know, that's that kind of guy thing, isn't it? Whereas these women now have someone to look up to like that. Like Ivalesse, that badass bitch. You know, I like that. I just like that. A bad landing off a hammerlock DDT, very mistimed. Blake smacked the canvas very hard after, which I like. So basically they did it, they fucked up, and then she smacked the canvas, which shows she cares, and she's annoyed she got it wrong. I don't like seeing the botch, but I like seeing that they care afterwards. Brandy applies a lovely transition into a cutter, making up for that mistake, and Orton and DDP would have been proud of that. It really was a lovely, lovely move. Jenna then comes out. She beats the shit out of both. Powerbombs the champion. Raises the belt in the air. What a monster of a woman. I mean, if that's what... Jenna, I don't give a fuck. Versus Araya Blake for the ACW Women's Championship at the next ACW show. Fine by me. This was a monster of a woman. 1.5 stars. Again, nothing insulting. Just a typical WWE Women's match. Let's just call it that. A traditional women... Actually, that's not fair, because what is a traditional WWE Women's match? They have Rachel Ellering versus Rhea O'Reilly. I'm fucking knackered. Oh god, tomorrow is Saturday, which is my day off, and I'm fucking knackered, but I want to get this one done, because then it's done, and I'd have to have it in the back of my mind all day tomorrow. Rachel gets a decent reaction. O'Reilly comes out. She gets some good heat. You know, I didn't mind it. So we have nice technical exchange, both trained by Lance Storm as expected. Now we're going to get a great technical exchange. O'Reilly hits a Finley roll plus a senton, and she's a heavy girl, and it's a very heavy landing on poor Rachel. Rachel then hits a springboard leg drop for 2. O'Reilly hits a Draper neck breaker, which was very nice. O'Reilly with a curb stomp for 2. Ellering hits a TKO, but Tessa Blanchard comes out. She has the referee and her distracted, which allowed O'Reilly to hit a double undercook DDT to get the win. Obviously, this setting up Blanchard versus Ellering down the line. And I liked Tasha. Oh my good grief. You pay for this. Tessa stands on the entranceway and she laughs. Unbelievable. I do apologise, I'm stuttering over my words. What an unprofessional English twat. 2 stars. I did enjoy this. I enjoyed this more than the previous 2 matches we had, and it wasn't as good as the opener, but I just thought it was a step up from what we had before. Then we had Jessie Belle Smothers, what a horrible name, and Leather Bates Maybe GBS stands for just bullshit. Maybe, because it makes sense of her. Bates, basically, she comes out, and it's got like a pinky blondie hair. She's dressed as a schoolgirl. She's dancing around it. She goes up to the top of the balconies, and they're doing all the dance gimmick. Then she takes off her hair. She's back to black hair. Awesome entrance. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend buying FloSlam or watching this event, however you want to do that, and I recommend you guys watching it. Just as we're working on the left ankle, as Bates has just returned from a ankle injury. Bates, oh my god, Bates is selling well and legit screaming. Really legit screaming. Bates applies a crossface, but Smothers gets to the ropes. Bates is on the comeback, and she forgets to sell, even hitting a bridge Northern Light suplex, which is, if I'm selling my leg and I'm hitting a bridged Northern suplex, so A, I shouldn't be able to hit it because I wouldn't be able to lift them. B, if I hit it and then my leg's going to give, which wouldn't allow me to hit the Northern, wouldn't allow me to bridge and get the cover. That's coming from a guy who stepped in the ring about twice. Jesus, because I did about, well, actually that's a lie, 4 or 5 times I did a month's training. My god, my body's not built for wrestling, I tell you that for sure. I will never look back, I'll never look back on that in shame. I will never look back on it. Was a great experience. I recommend every wrestling fan to try it. It was just damn awful. Not awful, just my back hurts. Ah, oh, Jesus Christ. I hated the selling on and off, which made it worse, because in the end of the day, if you do psychology and it's awesome, I'm going to raise the rating. If you do it and it sucks, I'm going to deduct it. If you don't do it at all, I'm not going to deduct. So if you're out there and you're thinking, oh, how can I get a 5-star OK rating? Use psychology, use it well. Or don't use it at all. Don't use it and make it look like a joke. Biggest pet peeve. And the match ended, by the way, with Smothers going for the gory bomb and Leatherbaits rolling through to get the win. Oh, star and a half, star and a quarter. Nothing worth you paying to watch. That's the issue. If this was a pay-per-view, so just this one show, I'd be pretty pissed. Oh god, I just turned the page and just saw what I'm about to talk about. Oh, dude, you're not gonna like this. So we have Raquel versus Tessa Blanchard. Raquel, she's from TNA. Oh, there's gonna be some TNA jokes in it. So Blanchard, she comes out, she's smoking hot, and she looks like, this is an example. So if you're picturing, if you don't know Tessa Blanchard in your mind, picture her. Picture Dexter. Have you ever watched the show Dexter? Not picture Dexter the man, of course, but if you watch the show Dexter, his sister Deborah, that's who she looks like. Blanchard, in her entrance, she comes out to the Four Horsemen's intro, and her theme song is absolutely amazing. I love that. And there is no way that Blanchard won't be in WWE within 3 to 5 years. Mark my word, that woman will be a star. Raquel is green as goose shit. She needs work, and trust her to be the TNA representative on this show. He just says it all. Well, there's 2 TNA talents on this show, and trust her to be one of them. She is useless, garbage, vermin, scum of the earth. Raquel shouts, "She's dead," before hitting a shitty suplex. I'm like, oh, you suck. Blanchard, it's a nice hammerlock DDT. Ellering comes out, puts I said Elshers and Teshers. Like, what the fuck is going on with shh? Maybe it's God telling me to shut the fuck up. Puts Tessa's jacket on, distracts her. Raquel then, this is awful. So she goes for a flatliner, which is a reverse STO. She fucks it up. Tessa starts laughing. And then she picks her back up. She fucks it up again. The second time, Tessa gets fucked off, so she just pushes against the rope, gives her some fucking hard, stiff as fuck forearms. And then finally, Raquel hit it for the 3rd time to get the win. God, Blanchard carried this whore. She's the first whore of the evening. What a useless sack of shit. Oh, God, that was so bad. Like, literally, with that being said, I think it was worth the money of the FloSlam subscription just to see how bad that was. And if there's a gif online, I'm going to retweet it so everyone can see and shame her, because that was awful. And it's not like, if that was in training, you'd be like, yeah, right, do it again, but to have to do it 3 times, it's the finish. You had to do it 3 times. What an absolute joke. She sucked. Poor Blanchard carried that girl. Ellering then, this feud's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it, the next event where we're going to get Ellering versus Blanchard. I hope it goes main event. Actually, no, I want the title to go on main event. I've been talking about that a lot recently. I'm a traditionalist in my pro wrestling ways, and maybe it's stubborn. I don't give a shit. The title should be the main event, and Shine title was in the main event in here, which made me extremely happy. After the match, there was a big stare down with Blanchard and Ellering. There's a brawl until Blanchard runs away. Blanchard, though, comes back out, jumps to the apron and just shouts, "You're just mad because your dad wasn't a bigger superstar than mine." Then runs off. Ellering then chases her to the back. 1.5 stars. That whole 1.5 stars goes to Blanchard. 1/4 of the star goes to Raquel just for turning up. Awful. Kennedy Brink and Amber O'Neal representing C4, the faction C4, versus ACR and Shayna Baszler. And I went for a piss. I do apologise. I had to. When you gotta go, you gotta go. When we come from... Oh, dude, if only I could have sound effects. If only I could have sound effects. Like, with the software I'm using, it's extremely difficult for me to add sound effects. It's not live, and it's just very difficult. But I would love to one day be able to have sound effects, because I would have put... right before then, I would have hit a button that would have had, from Jurassic Park, when he goes, "That's one big pile of shit." What was his name? Oh, I forgot his name now. Oh, no. Yeah, Dr. Malcolm. You had the children. This is the first Jurassic Park I'm talking about, so think in your heads right now. So who was the one who... Oh, that's going to bug me all night. I won't be able to sleep now. Jesus wept. This is difficult. So you had Malcolm. Was it Dr. Malcolm? Shall I just GTS it right now? I could easily not bother, but I'm going to. So we're going to have the Jurassic Park cast, and we're going to fucking look at this up right now for my VIPs. You're going to go to bed thinking, I know what it is now. I know exactly who it is. 1990. It was Dr. Malcolm the whole time. It was Ian Malcolm. That show's 1993. That's 3 years before I was born. Holy shit. That's crazy. So yeah, Malcolm, when he goes, "That's one big pile of shit." Yeah, speaking of one big pile of shit, this is what this show is. But I bet it was entertaining. I bet you're enjoying yourself as much as I am. I'm still having fun. Like, even though I'm taking the piss out of it, I'm still enjoying myself. So I went for a piss. When I came back, Shayna is on the hot tag. Brink hits a... Brink. What's your name? I'm Kennedy Brink. Brink hits a big spine buster, but Baszler just applies a cross arm breaker to get the win. And I can't comment. I only saw the ending. And the ending wasn't bad. And this Baszler's a beast. Absolute monster. And then, speaking of beast and monster, oh my god. This might be difficult to even say. Saraya Knight versus Su Yung. Now, heading into this show, I thought, I knew Saraya Knight was Paige's mum. I'm thinking, okay, Paige is a bit, edgy and a bit different. She's now a whore, but that's a different story for a different time, and I hope she didn't hear. I now feel bad because I'm now worried that because I live in England, she lives in England, I'm worried that the next time I call her daughter a whore, she's going to find me and beat me with one of these fucking weapons. Jesus, this was a nasty, nasty match. And there was one spot in particular which, if you watched it, you know what I'm going to be talking about, that I didn't particularly like. And I'll dissect that in a minute. But she is one scary motherfucker. She came out and it's like, okay, if I saw her in the street, I'd go to a different alleyway. I don't care. Call me a pussy, I don't give a fuck. She's one scary motherfucker. So she comes out. She's like, what was that song? I'm not a woman you mess with. I can't remember. That's going to stick in my head as well. Listen to that. Listen to that. Fuck me sideways. Listen to this type gimmick. This really is a gimmick. So in the office, okay, I talk a lot, and we actually have a machine in here which converts I don't know what I'm breathing, like it's a type of gas you breathe out. It converts that and turns it into water. We then use that water to water the plants in the garden. Call me the smartest man alive. However, it is a noisy machine. However, it's set for a timer of 5:16, but because the clock went back, it starts at 4:15. So apologies if you hear that. So Young's there. She comes out. It's a wedding dress. Blood in, freaky as fucking shit. Knight then cuts a promo saying, "Listen to me, you bitch. Remember who brought you here. I'm going to kick the shit out of you." I wish I wasn't exaggerating. That's legit the promo she cut. Really good promo, intense, right in her face, and again, believable. Knight whispers in her ear, then slaps her in the face. Knight kicks her hard in the moo-moo, and then launches her into loads of chairs. More kicking in the moo-moo. She then DDTs her on the floor. Both either have got in the ring yet. It's just ridiculous. Knight hits a kendo stick to the back of the head. Suplex on the floor with no mats. Su Yung then applies a mandible claw but drags her on the floor through the throat. Absolutely nasty. And then this is the spot. Okay, so they brawl up to the top of this like balcony type thing. So she ties her with a rope. This being Soraya Knight, Paige's mum. She ties her by the throat and hangs her. She hangs her. She dangles her off. There's a kid screaming. There's women shouting, "No, stop it, dude!" So uncomfortable. Like if I'm a promoter and I see the crowd, and you can hear the crowd, like it's a mixture of males, females, and the younger audience, which makes me happy that the younger audience are there, supporting independent pro wrestling. Good parents. And I'm there thinking, you can't do that. Like, it was nasty because it wasn't like she was doing it dangling, she was strangling her, and then she stopped kicking, and you're like, oh my god, stop. Very, very uncomfortable. Really, I felt very uncomfortable watching that. I'm a male, 19 years old. I did not like that at all. Nasty, nasty stuff. Then there was a thumbtacks on the bar. Sue DDT'd her onto them. Ref finally... This is illogical. So the ref counts the 10 count. And I'm thinking to myself, why the fuck didn't he do that through the whole match, and this whole match wouldn't have taken place? It would have saved all of this. Extremely, extremely dumb. Awful. Su Yung wins. After the match, Su Yung bows to Knight, and Knight tilts the proverbial cap. Brutal, too brutal for my English ass, I'll be honest. If you're a deathmatch fan, gonna be honest, you're probably gonna love this. A star from me, because I'm not a fan of it. I'm gonna be honest, 3 stars if you're a fan of deathmatch wrestling. Okay, I pride myself on giving fair reviews. Now, my review of the show is a 1 star because I don't like deathmatch, but putting myself into a person who is a fan of deathmatch wrestling, I can picture you giving it a 3 stars. Okay, so if you're a fan of deathmatch wrestling, I recommend you to check that out. Then we have number 1 contendership. Lufisto from C4 versus Allison Kay. Kay is, there we go, sort of Sienna, go fuck yourself from TNA. I prefer this name of Allison Kay for sure. Lufisto tries to take the knee brace off and eventually does and works the leg dash knee. Lufisto then applies lots of submission holds, working the leg basically just the whole entire match. Kay hits a nasty belly to back suplex, very high angled. Lufisto with a perfect pets for 2. Kay with a discus lariat, but the rest of C4 come out. Kay hits the pounce, but C4 puts Lufisto's feet on the ropes. Lufisto then applies a version of the Indian Deathlock. Kay taps, again working the leg with the Indian Deathlock. Lufisto is the new number 1 contender for the Shine Championship. I like the fit. It's difficult because Kay she sold when the leg was being worked on, and then in between where C4 came out, she's probably remembering what she had to do, so she just didn't sell it. But it was made up for in the end because Lufisto did a finishing move which worked on the body part that she dissected the whole match. So she kind of saved it for herself there. So I'm going to give it 2. If the psychology is in there completely, maybe 2.5 to 3, but I'm going to give it 2. Call me nasty, I don't give a shit. Main event time, Shine Championship online. Ivalesse defending against Vanessa Craven. Huge size difference. I think it was around about 75 to 80 pounds in difference. Craven in complete control for the first 7 to 10 minutes until Ivalesse hits a tilt-the-wall DDT. Craven hits a boss man slam for 2 for good near full. Craven then goes for a spear, and then Ivalesse applies a guillotine choke. What an awesome counter that was, and Craven taps. After the match, Lufisto attacks Ivalesse because remember she's the new number 1 contender for the Shine Championship. All of C4 then beat down until Mercedes, Kay, L-Ring, everyone comes out. Every woman come out, and what was great was L-Ring and Blanchard brawl, and then everyone else is brawling, and they're all brawling within their rivalries. Absolutely brilliant. Chaos. And it closed with the chaos. 2 stars for the match, because I quite enjoyed the match. Just a standard, typical, bigger woman, smaller woman. Good story. Enjoyed it a lot. Still chapping Ivalesse. But it was just, the brawl at the end was like, they could have just done a big brawl, but the brawl was booked so that the people with the rivalries brawling, and you're like, oh my god, I now want to see them brawl. I want to see their matches. So you have to wait for next month. With next month, you have to pay next month's subscription. So, really good job. FloSlam, Very good job with the production aspect, very well done. The stream was top draw from me. I want to hear from you guys in the comments if there was any fuck ups with your stream, but myself, I enjoyed this show. It was two and a half to 2 hours 45. I did enjoy the show. I may have been a bit negative and the star ratings weren't very high, but a 2-star match is a good, acceptable wrestling match. There was 2 or 3 that were below that, but the majority were 2 to 3. So that being said, it gets a weak win from me. And the win-loss tie system we normally do at KocoSports. So a weak win from me. I really recommend you to go to FloSlam if you're a fan of independent wrestling for sure. Live streaming all the time. You got PWX, Beyond Wrestling. So I just did a Shine show. We just watched Shine. Next weekend there's 2 Evolve shows. Then the weekend after is a PWX tournament. Weekend after a Beyond Wrestling show and an ACW show in there somewhere as well. Just an incredible amount of live shows, and you get them all on demand. Archives are incredible at the minute, just